Happy summer, Capricorn. Welcome to your June 2021 astrological forecast. The month starts off with the sun in Gemini. Mercury is in Gemini, but it's in retrograde motion, but it will turn direct on the 22nd. And there's a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini on the 10th. And where you have Gemini in your chart is your 6th house of the kind of work that you do, the workplace, your co-workers, your work schedule. It's your house of health, your house of service, and your house of like small pets. So maybe you'll get a cat or dog or something right now. But anyway, I do have a link to a video that I did on Mercury Retrograde. It's in the description below because you might really want to listen to that, because having Mercury Retrograde in your 6th house of work, or the workplace even, kind of means that one of two things. When Mercury's retrograde, it kind of like does a review, so you and your co-workers could actually find out that something that you've been doing all along, the way you were doing a certain job, was incorrect, okay? Or you could start finding mistakes, whatever. Or you could be given information at this time, instructions on how to do a certain job, or however anything is explained to you just really doesn't make any kind of sense, or all of the information that you need in order to finish your job, it isn't there, or you can't access it for some reason or other. But any kind of work that you are doing right now, make sure you ask an awful lot of questions, really detailed questions, especially if you are self-employed and you have a client that wants something done like a specific way. You know, you really have to make sure you clearly understand and that they are clearly telling you exactly what it is that they want done, because you could spend an awful lot of time on something only to have them go, well, that's not what I said I wanted. So if you are like I said, self-employed, get this person to write it down so you can show them what they said to you, because they'll blame it on you. But when Mercury is retrograde in regards to work, it's usually, though, you are told the wrong thing. You're told the wrong way to do something. And so that's all you have to go by. But a lot of times I find, okay, especially like in dealing with software, people don't seem to, well, at work, I guess sometimes you don't really have the time to explore all of the software that you're using, or programs or something like that. So a lot of times people find out that this icon actually does this and makes your job shorter and quicker or something or other. But if you would have been using it all along, you know, it would have been the best thing to do. But no one ever bother to explain that to you, or the software package that was sold to your company, whomever sold it to your company is the one that's kind of like at fault there, unless you explore these things yourself. But all kinds of fun things happen in the workplace. You could end up being late for work quite a few times due to no fault of your own. A lot of times you could just end up stuck in traffic or something like that. But this is like the time where, you know, let's say people are going on vacation. The sun is here at the same time every year. So this is every year for you where maybe wherever it is that you work, that people are starting to go on vacation. So you have to make sure that there's so many people in the workplace to cover for people who are gone for a week or two or whatever. And a lot of times these things get mixed up. It's, you know, there's people that are, it was okay that two of them were out at the same time, and now everybody's running around trying to fill in wherever they can, but they just don't have enough people there. So all kinds of whatever. But also, this new moon solar eclipse, any kind of eclipse, the effect lasts a lot longer than, let's say, like a normal new moon or normal full moon, which is just a few days before and after the actual occurrence. So whatever happens at work around this time is something that will affect whatever you or your coworkers are doing for like the next so many months. It's not a bad thing. It's a new beginning. But what I think is, you find the work that you've been doing was being done incorrectly, but it was through no fault of your own. And now you have all the correct information that you need in order to do your job, or do a certain whatever. If you're self-employed and you have a client, you're doing something exactly the way they want it done. As far as your health goes, if you were having any kind of problems, which I really don't see anything like that going on here, this is when you would get maybe a checkup this time each year, and also find out that if you are having your checkup around that new moon, that you're actually in better shape than you thought you were, possibly. Maybe your health has improved, or maybe you were just wondering, how you were doing, and you were expecting the worst, only to find out that it's actually something pretty good. Okay, so Mars is still in Cancer just for, let's see here, just up until the 10th. And where you have Cancer in your chart is your 7th house. It is your opposite sign. Your 7th house is your house of partnerships, close relationships, business or romantic, or just a close friend. And what's really nice about this is Venus moves into Cancer on the 2nd and will be here up until like the 26th. So you have the love planets at the same time in your house of partnerships. And this is like the house of like marriage. Okay, so that's why we say partnerships. It's something a little bit more definite. I'm not saying that marriage is in your future or anything, but this is a time where if you did have to have any kind of discussion with anyone that you do have a close relationship with, especially, let's say, like if it is business, while Mars was just here by itself, your business partner could have been acting like very aggressively towards you, trying to get you to do business the way they want it done. It might not be something that is on the up and up, or legal, or whatever, or it made you uncomfortable and that's not the way you wanted to do business. Or they were trying to get you to sign a contract or something that wasn't in your best interest. It wasn't all in your favor, or it wasn't fair. Okay, so now that Venus is here, it kind of softens this area, especially when Mars will be leaving. Okay, on the 11th it moves into Leo, into your 8th house. Okay, so you'll just have Venus in your 7th house of partnerships, meaning that all of your interactions with them are a lot smoother and a lot more pleasant. In fact, you and this other person may even avoid conversations about anything that is unpleasant, because you're just not in the mood to discuss something like that right now. You would like to have a nice time with this person. If it is romantic, that's what you would rather do, rather than bring up a bad issue or subject or something like that. However, there is a full moon in your sign on the 24th. Okay, so full moons are like a good thing. They bring things to the surface. Okay, so you can deal with them and get them out of the way. So that's kind of like what this is doing. Like when Mars was in your 7th house in Cancer, it did bring out the aggressiveness in someone towards you. Okay, and it made you stand up for yourself, more or less, or ward them off in some way, or put them at arm's length. Okay, now that Mars has moved there and there's just Venus there, anything that you would want to get off your chest, no matter how unpleasant it is, with a close friend or a partner, business and or romantic, it is like a good thing. I think they'll clearly understand what you're trying to do. They may even agree with whatever it is you want to do with your relationship. Now, when Mars moves into Leo and your 8th house, 8th house is other people's money and resources, but it's also a partner's resources. So it's even property that you may own with someone else. Okay, but this is shared resources, but also shared debt. So maybe that's something that's coming out here right now. Like Venus will move into Leo on the 27th. But up until that point, you've got Venus in your 7th house and Mars in your 8th house. So your partner, you may be discussing with your partner, let's say a business partner, about how much time or even money that you want to put into the business, and you could come to some kind of an agreement as to how much money you even want to put into the business, or how much you want to spend. How are you going to spend the resources that you have to better your business in some way or other, not like create more debt, okay, because this is also shared debt. So you could even be having a discussion like that, like who owes what and who owns what, okay. But on the other side, wherever Mars is transiting, it makes you very aggressive and enthusiastic and very physically active in going after whatever it is that that house governs. And one of these things is money. Money that is owed you in some way. This is money from a settlement of some kind, insurance payout, a refund, a credit of some kind, even if it's from your bank or a credit card company. It's money from winnings, possibly, but it's money coming to you through means other than earning it. This is even the house of legacies and inheritances, but I really don't see anything like that right now in your chart. However, you have Saturn in Aquarius in your 2nd house right now. Okay, it's directly across from your 8th house, so it kind of means that you know, Jupiter has left here briefly and moved into Pisces, but I'll get to that in a minute. So all we have is Saturn in the 2nd house, which kind of brings about a halt to work, like income in some way or other. Maybe you had a lot of work to do and you had a steady income, and now maybe that's slowing down. So your money is drying up, let's put it that way. So maybe that's what this is all about. Having Mars in your 8th house is you are looking for not just another source of income, but money that was already supposed to be yours, okay, or something that is supposed to be yours. And if you need to borrow money, especially from a bank, the best time to do that would be when Venus moves here into Leo on the 27th. So, okay, well, planet Jupiter is in Pisces. Where you have Pisces in your chart is your 3rd house. It actually turns retrograde on the 20th, and Neptune has been in Pisces for many years, and it turns retrograde on the 25th. So you have Pisces on your 3rd house. Jupiter is just here very briefly to the end of July, and it will move again back into Aquarius, then move forward, and then in December it will finally move into Pisces fully. So having these two planets in your 3rd house of your everyday life and your neighborhood, your neighbors, your siblings, cousins, the places and people that you would encounter throughout the normal course of a day. It's also a travel house, local travel though usually, and communications. You may at this time get, let's say, mail, regular postal mail, or even email that missed you for some reason or other, or it was delayed in getting to you, but it could bring kind of like good news or something, or the hope of good news. Not exactly sure what to make of whatever you learn at this time, any kind of communication that you have with someone. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, but Neptune is the planet of unreality and illusion, okay, among many other things. So, you know, you could be crossing your fingers along with your neighbors, even that something pretty wonderful is coming to your area, but there's a possibility that it actually is. But in retrograde motion, these planets are kind of like doing a bit of a review of what's been going on, let's say like in your everyday life, along with these planets in Gemini in your 6th house, which is also your everyday life more or less. So these two things together, you may have, let's say, been helping someone, more than likely a relative or a neighbor though. Okay, could be a neighbor. And I always say it's the 50-50 thing, the sixth house, the service to others, okay, where someone needs a favor done out of necessity, and so do you. So you help each other, and you're both getting something out of it, okay? And now, maybe you did have some kind of setup like that, but now maybe it's not really working out for you. Maybe you don't even need that help anymore. So you're changing your mind a little bit. Maybe you are, you know, deciding that, in fact, this could be the partnership or whatever that you need to discuss at this time. Okay, that it just isn't working out for you. You either want to alter it or drop it altogether. Okay, the best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Capricorn on the 24th, 25th, and 26th. The best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign, and your opposite sign is Cancer, and those dates are the 11th, 12th, and 13th. The best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, any kind of gambling or speculation, and anything to do with children is the 6th, 7th, 8th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The best time for money is the 13th, 14th, 15th, 26th, 27th, and 28th. The best time for your career is the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And the best time for communication and travel is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 16th, 17th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. So I'd like to remind you to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell. You'll be notified each time I upload something. Also, check out the Mercury Retrograde video in the description below. There's a link. There's also a link to my website if you would like to have your personal chart done, and check out Ask Me a Question, also in the description below there. And check out my weekly forecasts. I will see you next week. Goodbye. Hi, Capricorn. I just wanted to add to your forecast there because I believe I forgot to mention that the sun actually moves into your opposite sign of Cancer on the 19th. Okay, now remember, Mars was just here in your 7th house. That's where you have the sign of Cancer. It's directly across from your 1st house in Capricorn. So you may have had to deal with somebody pretty aggressive in your life while Mars is in Cancer. Okay, still up until the 10th of June. And the 7th house is your close relationships, partnerships, business, and or romantic. Okay, well, now Mars is leaving here. However, the sun is moving here, so it's almost like a continuation, okay, at the end of June into July of the whole partnership thing. So maybe you'll get some things squared away, especially around that full moon in your 1st house. Okay, that would probably be a really good idea for you to get whatever off your chest then. Okay, so that's yours. We each get a full moon and a new moon in our sign. So this is your full moon on the 24th, and the sun will already be in Cancer at that time. So it's a really good idea to think about whatever it is that you would like to change within your close relationship.